Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is So Much Sewing. So Much Sewing is all about sewing. It's all about sewing for myself mostly, sometimes for my granddaughter, less often than that for my husband. Generally it's all about me. Thank you for joining me here today. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy my vlog and I hope you'll consider subscribing. Whether you are new here or whether you have been here before, I hope you will give it a cheeky thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell, then please do all those great things as well. Today is just a bit of a catch up. It's really tidying up some loose ends. It's talking about a recent make. My sister's been very prolific with her making, and there's a couple of items to show you that she has made. I will talk to you about two patterns that I have already printed out. One of them's cut out, ready to go, and I am in the process of making something else. And I also wanted to tell you about an exciting meetup that I had recently, so I will talk you through that as well. So let's get into it. The first thing I'll talk to you about is tidying up my loose ends. If you remember, if you've been here before, you may remember. If this is your first time, you won't know about this, but I made the Simone top by Fibre. I originally made it in a sort of a very cropped version. The pattern has a frill across the bust here, and just underneath there is they call it an insert. It's just a very small insert, I suppose, and then the bottom layer is sewn onto that. So originally I made it so that the top was just extremely cropped. That little insert was only just covered by the frill, and I had a thought that I would wear it with a recent make of mine, which I absolutely adore, the Suzy dress by Hubba. And my original thought that I would make it in a very, very cropped version to wear over the Suzy dress by Hubba. I probably have put a picture up here for you to see that dress made in an amazing paisley fabric. It's a Liberty cotton. When I had made it, I realised I didn't really like it that cropped, so I went back and I put the bottom frill around it, and so this is the end result, and I think it's a really cute, it'll be so cool to wear in the summertime as our summertime approaches. I know a lot of my viewers will be going into wintry times, but we're heading into summer, and so this will be an amazing top for the summertime. It goes nicely with the Suzy dress, and I can wear it with jeans, I can wear it with all sorts of things. So how much wear I get out of it, I don't know, because it is extremely bright, as you can see, and I am not sure. The next little loose end to tie up is a pair of knit trousers that I made. I made using a pattern from a company that I really think is no longer around. It was called Apples and Pears. So this is a brand I don't think anyone can get. But at the end of the day, it's a fairly simple pair of knit pants. It's supposed to be leggings, but I didn't want leggings. I wanted a pair of knit pants that was more in line with a jogger, but I feel like joggers are not the best shape on me. I don't really dig all the pockets around here where I don't need bulk and, you know, the bulky drawstring and all that sort of jazz. So I'm not a huge jogger fan, but I didn't want, you know, straight old leggings either. So what I did is I made them fit around the middle, pretty much like a legging, and through the hip. And then what I did is I graded the thigh and the calf out so that it sits on me more like a pant, jogger, I don't know what to call it, but it's more of a loose fitting trouser. And so this is exactly the fit I was looking for. Very slim through the waist and the hips, as I say, and just more relaxed fitting on the leg. I've got a couple of pictures. They're probably not very flattering pictures, but you can see that they do fit around the waist and the bum area like a legging. I've got a picture, probably I'm putting it in now I suppose, of my bum, and you can see the bum that I'm working with. It's not a great bum for trousers. In fact, my whole shape around the middle area is just quite difficult to fit. There's no bum on the bottom. I've got no bum, you know, at the bottom of my bum, and all my extra sort of bits, because we all have extra bits, all my extra bits are sort of right up here on my flank at the back here. So I'm a bit of an odd shape. We're all a bit of an odd shape, but this shaped trouser I feel is such a great comfy pair of pants that, like I say, I'm sure I'll be making another pair. The next thing to talk to you about is my Vogue pattern, and I just forget off the top of my head what number it is, because who can remember those silly numbers, but I will put this down below for us here. And this top I got in, I think it's an L, XL and an XXL size range. My body measurements put me in a XL, but I know from experience that Vogue patterns in particular, possibly even Big Four as a whole, I don't know, I can't really get a handle on their sizings, but I know that I need to go down one size at least, if not two sizes. So while my body measurements put me in a size XL, I cut the size L and made that up. Now I do love this top. I love the fabric. I got the fabric from the fabric store. It was the last on the roll when I was down in Christchurch visiting, put my teeth in. So, and I've looked online and there's no more left. I just love it so much. Now the top itself is too big. I definitely can go down a size, but of course the packet that I have doesn't go down another size. In fact, could I even go down two sizes? I'm not sure, but it's so yeah, very roomy, especially under the arm there, and the neckline is very, very wide. So yeah, all over too big, but when I cut it out, I actually shortened the sleeve. It's supposed to have a long sleeve, and having made it up, I know that if I'd left it at the long sleeve, the sleeves would have been, you know, way down here on me. But the way I placed it on the fabric, the sleeve ran off the edge of the fabric, and so I had to cut some of the, you know, the length of the sleeve, but that was fine. I really like a 3/4 sleeve top like this one here, which I'll get to in a minute, what I'm wearing. So I was really happy with that sleeve length, and then I can just zhuzh it up, pull it up a little bit more if I would like to. Super comfy, will be amazing with leggings and boots and a cardi when the weather gets cooler again in several months' time, many months' time. And I can just see me getting loads and loads of wear out of this top. This top that I'm wearing today is my Bloom top. It is also a dress from Joli Lab. I made this last summertime. I am so excited to get it out of my wardrobe and start wearing it again. I love this so much. This is a Lease Tailor fabric that I got from, I'm sure I got this from Harmer and Huff here in New Zealand. And the buttons are gorgeous buttons. I got these from the Dahlia Society, Kristen at the Dahlia Society, and I've got buttons all the way down the front and all the way down the back. Now these buttons have got a lovely sparkle on them, and there's a lot of buttons here, and the buttons alone cost me about $45, which is, you know, more than £20, more than 20 American dollars. So that alone was a reasonable expense, and then of course the Lease Tailor fabric. But it just makes it so special. I love this top so much. The buttons, I think, just really make it for me, and I feel like $1,000,000 when I'm wearing this. So what is on my cutting table now? Actually, before I get to my cutting table, I'm in the process of making another moss jacket by Helen's Closet. Now, last time I made a moss jacket, I made it in a very heavy sort of charcoal coloured linen. And some of my viewers very gently teased me about, well, I think they were teasing me about my Kiwi accent, because several people said that they were interested in my Miss jacket, M-I-S-S. But of course it's Moss, M-O-S-S, and I've just got a Kiwi accent. So I'm making this moss jacket in a sort of a kingfisher green coloured viscose crepe. And it's, to be honest, I'm battling with it a little bit. Of course, sort of viscose crepe can be a bit sort of shifty when you're sewing it. But I'll talk about it more once I've finished it. I think it's going to turn out fine, and I'm sure it will be fine. So I'll talk to you about that more when I have finished making it. What's on my cutting table at the moment is a pair of trousers from Style Arc, the Fifi trousers. I liked these because they've got a flat front and they've got an elasticated waist at the back. They look to be, obviously quite loose fitting. I'm going to make them just above the ankle. I haven't actually chosen my fabric yet. I'm going to make these in some ugly old fabric that I've got. I don't know which ugly old fabric, but I've got plenty of ugly old fabric that I have purchased in the past or picked up in the past for 12s. So I need to make a 12. It's really hard for me to make pants to fit. It's hard for me to buy pants to fit. I end up with stretchy pants all the time, which is fine. I like stretchy pants, and I think a narrow stretchy pant suits my shape. But I want to break out, do some new things. You can't wear the same things year after year after year. So I'm going to break out and try and make these Fifi pants. So I've done some grading from the waist down to the hip, and I'll try them, see where I get to. I'll keep you in the loop. And the next thing I have on the go is the Leonie dress by Liam Patterns. I did talk about this pattern in my last video where I talked about New Zealand sewing pattern designers, and Liam Patterns have got a small collection of patterns, and this Leonie dress is one of them. Unfortunately, the picture on the website doesn't save well, so it just ends up literally being like an etching. So I'll put it up here on the green wall, and hopefully it will show up. Now, this Leonie dress, I love the line drawings, and I did a bit of research on the old internet and looked on Instagram and saw a few people had made it up. But the people who had made up the Leonie dress all had it belted around the waist with looked like wraparound belts. Every single one of them had the waist belted, and that's just not my jam. So I liked the way it looked in the line drawings, but I couldn't see a picture of it made up in real life that I liked the look of. So I really wanted to try it out, but I got put off. I chickened out because I couldn't see an example of how I thought it would look and how I wanted it to look. But I went to Drapers last weekend, and they did have a few items, a few patterns that they had made up in some of their fabrics to showcase their fabrics, and the Liam Patterns Leonie dress was one of these things. So the version that I saw at Drapers was exactly how I wanted to make it. It was just, and how you see it in the line drawings, with the princess seams running down, a little belt going just between the two princess seams there, and the rest of the garment looser. So I bought the pattern and I have got it printed out and I'm ready to go. I have seen other people who have made the dress or top say that it is very wide on the neckline, so I'll need to have a look at that and see how it goes. I may need to pull that in a little bit because I seem to be quite narrow through the chest and narrow through the shoulders, so I'll just see how that goes, probably do another twirl. And yeah, so I'm excited about doing that. My sister Sarah has been sewing up a storm, although interestingly enough she said to me today, I think I've got enough tops now, I think I've got enough clothes, I don't know that I need to sew anymore. That blew my mind. You don't sew because you need clothes. You sew because you're obsessed, because you have to sew clothes, because that's the way you express yourself. So I'm just trying to get my head around that little comment of hers. It'll take me some time. I'll get there. Sarah has made 2 tops, Heron tops from the Sewing Revival. She made one black one and she made one, it's a kind of a paisley, kind of a retro-y sort of feel fabric, which the colours I think just look so lovely on her. That green is amazing on her. And so she's really happy with these tops. And, you know, with her being new to sewing, she's sort of noticing the differences between the fabrics. I think it was a linen cotton mix or a linen tencel mix for the black one that she made. And so she's just really noticed the difference between the fabrics, and she's noticing how different fabric content you know, sits differently on the body. So that's an interesting little journey to be going on. And the other top she made, which is possibly one of her favorites, is the Array top by Papercut Patterns. And she made this out of a embroidered gauze, which she said was a little bit tricky to work with because the embroidery was so sort of lumpy bumpy, and then the gauze going from a bit that had embroidery on it to the gauze, which has its own challenges, she said was a little bit interesting, but she worked her way through it and she loves the way it fits and the way it sits. She did grade out from about here, from about her rib cage down. She did one size at the top and she graded out that to another size in the hip area, because it is a very straight through style, and I think she did an amazing job there. It looks right, I think. So she really likes the way the structured sort of fit and feel of the fabric, and the sleeves she's in love with. She's in love with the neckline. She just loves this top, and she wants me to make an array top too now. So I think that's added itself to my list of things to do. And the last thing I have to talk to you about is something very exciting that I did last weekend. Is I met up with 2 of my viewers. A few weeks ago I put out an open invitation to anybody in New Zealand who wanted to meet up with me, presumably in the Auckland area, which is where I live. I did get some comments saying only in New Zealand would someone, you know, invite people to meet up with them. I guess assuming that there would be so many people wanting to do so. But of course this is New Zealand and we have a very small population in New Zealand. And apart from that, I've got about 1,300, just under 1,300 viewers at the moment worldwide, which I know is a tiny amount, but it feels pretty big to me. And in fact, that number has grown a lot in recent times. Over the last few months, I've grown about 30% in the last 3 months. So thank you very much. If that's you, you've just recently signed on to my channel, I appreciate that. So with about 1,300 viewers globally, my New Zealand viewership is 11% of that. So a very small number of my viewers are actually from New Zealand. So I was in very little danger of being completely inundated with people wanting to meet up with me. And so, yes, 2 ladies met up with me last weekend. we went to a lovely cafe in Newmarket called Saffron, and we had coffee and cake to have a chat and get to know each other. And then we wandered down the road to Drapers, which is where I saw the Leonie dress made up, Leonie top made up. So we had a lovely time. Well, I had a lovely time, and the two ladies were kind enough to say that they had a lovely time too. These are the ladies here, Andrea with the darker hair and Sharon with the silver, white. I hope that's okay to say that. I hope that's okay, silvery white hair. And so that's just the two ladies at the cafe before we headed off down to Drapers. Now it was funny, the moment I met Sharon, I knew she was wearing a Helga top, a Helga shirt by Suzy Patterns, in an amazing, beautiful sort of blue-based pinky linen. And she immediately saw that I was wearing my moss jacket from Helen's closet. And then when Andrea showed up, I immediately saw that she was wearing her Italia brunette fabric, which I have the exact same fabric but in a different colorway, and she was wearing a Be Mine blouse. So it was just so funny that we immediately all knew exactly what each of us was wearing. And so instantly we had plenty to talk about because we're all sewers, and I just think that it was just such a comfortable meeting, and because we had that sewing to talk about, we always had something to talk about, and it was a really pleasant time. So thank you so much, Sharon and Andrea, for wanting to meet up with me. I appreciate that. I really enjoyed your company, and we did say that we would do it again. When we went to Drapers, we had a look around, and I love Drapers Fabrics. I love Drapers Fabrics, and I buy Drapers Fabrics, and I have bought a lot of Drapers Fabrics over the years. But I went to the store and I tried really hard to buy something, and I had money set aside. I had a budget for shopping, but at the end of the day, there was just nothing there that caught my eye. I personally am working through a mountainous stash. I have so much fabric that I willy-nilly purchased over the last sort of 3 and 4 years. I obviously had a lot more disposable income 3 or 4 years ago than I do now. So I am a lot more careful now. I do still buy fabric when something takes my fancy, but I know I've got a mountain to work my way through, and so I am trying really hard to do that. So when I went, I thought if I see something, I am going to pick it up, but I just didn't see anything that really caught my eye. But Andrea found a stretch denim remnant that is perfect for a skirt that she's going to be making. It's a new skirt. It's a sort of a, I want to say closet core, is it? But it's I'll see if I can find it. I can see it in my mind's eye, but it's a sort of a denim-y, cargo-y type skirt with lots of detail on it. So she found a remnant that was perfect for that, and Sharon is in the middle of taking apart a pair of her favourite jeans that have sadly now fallen apart and are just no good anymore. She's taking those apart, and she's going to be making herself a pair of jeans. And she's got some hardware coming to put on these jeans, and so she is having fun taking apart her jeans and putting them all back together again. I'm just doing some editing, which will hopefully explain why I may look like death warmed up with pet fur all over me. But I realised while I was editing that I didn't mention something that I wanted to mention, and that was when Sharon and Andrea and I met up. Sharon very, very kindly gave each of us a gift, which was so, so lovely. And what it is she gave us one of these gorgeous, gorgeous labels that she got from Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door, and it was wrapped up with these new fabric labels that Kylie and the Machine has put out. So these fabric labels are a sort of a sticky stickiness that will stick to your fabric but not leave any residue. And so you're able to put information on like where you purchased it and what the fibre content is and that sort of thing. And it's all wrapped up with a little bit of elastic here. So I just thought that was absolutely a beautiful thing for her to do. So thank you so much, Sharon. I really do appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to mention was that pattern Postie, who I talked about in a previous video, I think it was a couple of vlogs ago, a New Zealand online pattern store that has all the big four or big five, whatever we call them, plus she stocks Style Arc. I see she's now also got Papercut patterns in, which is another New Zealand designer, and she has Joli. But she's having a huge sale at the moment, half price everything. Well, no, half price on the big fives, not the independent patterns from what I can see, but half price on everything else, including Vogue, which in New Zealand, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but Vogue patterns can be $30, which might be, say, 15 American dollars or 15 English pounds. So they can be very expensive in New Zealand, and they're half price. So I personally am going over to check that out to see if there's anything in there that I would like to pick up. I don't know how long that sale is running for, so this video is literally going up tonight, which is Sunday. I can't remember what the date is, sorry, I'll put it down below. But so if you are wanting anything at half price, and who doesn't, please go check out Bronwyn at Pattern Postie. I really wanted to talk to you about Marnie from Tilly and the Buttons today. I have made my toile of the Tilly and the Buttons Marnie blouse. And Marnie, I've got some things to say about Marnie. So I've been rabbiting on already far too long in this video, so I will split that out and put it in a separate video. It might get its very own video, I'm not sure. But yeah, so for today, I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this is your first time here, please do those things. Subscribe, like, share. You know what to do. And I look forward to seeing you again. I hope that you are all well, and I hope you're all happy, and I hope that there's lots and lots and lots of sewing being done. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.